Hey folks, I wanted to show you something kind of cool that I've found. Now, I've kind of been going on a bit of a retro RPG vibe recently, or CRPG vibe. And yeah, no, just so you know, this is not the game I'm going to be reviewing. I'm actually writing a review now at the moment for SKALD against the Black Pirate Priory. I'm not gonna show you that now because you can wait for the review. But Drexy put me onto another game. He was like, "Oh, if you like that, you might like Realms of Antiquity: The Shattered Crown." And yeah, let me show you this, and you're gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" Let me show you. So you actually buy this through Steam. There we go. Look, powered by Classic 99. So this is actually this is a modern game, right? This is made in 2020 by Quixotic Software or Quixotic Software. I don't know how you say this, but the developer here, he's actually made this game on an old Tandy computer. Sorry, no, it's a Texas Instruments. Sorry, it's a TI-99, one of the variants of the TI-99. Now, I've never even heard of this computer, and I'm kind of into retro gaming, so I looked at this thing, and it came out around the same time as the Commodore VIC-20. So it's old, man. It's like late 70s, early 80s, something like that. I think the TI-99. Well, anyway, this guy's made this. The developer's made this game for the TI-99, and you can actually play it using an emulator, and you can buy it through Steam. And why would you play an old game like this? It's the reason being, okay, this very much like SKALD, as you're going to see, is. It's wearing the skin of an old, very old game, right? So it's got the old graphics. Let's just jump into here. It's got really, really old graphics. It's got old aesthetic. It comes with a manual, remember them. And yeah, it's kind of interesting in that respect. However, what makes it really unique is that it has got modern games design. Okay, so it's got modern, it's a modern tactical RPG. Okay, let's jump into. I'm going to show you the game that I was playing. Okay, so I was just messing around, and I just played with a solo party. So I'm in a dungeon at the moment. You see my character here. Okay, yeah, this is old graphics, and this is because it is running on a 1980 computer that was made in like 1980. So it's older than the Commodore 64, like really, really old. Okay, I've got a couple of monsters coming in here. So let's initiate a combat with one of these guys. Now I'm actually playing a really, really powerful character class. This is kind of like designed as this sort of easy mode, I guess. And this is one of the very, very early dungeons. Your turn, Benjamin. Okay, so we got a rusty blade ready. So you've got a bunch of action points, look, and then you've got hit points, and then you've got stamina. And I get to make my turn first. Very much like XCOM in the way that it... sorry, I'm not going to use that term because it's kind of loaded now with the whole Firaxis thing, but it's like UFO, the original UFO, Julian Gollop's, UFO Enemy Unknown, or XCOM UFO Defense, whichever one it was that you played, depending on where in the world you were. The original actually was UFO. And so it's got that kind of action point system, and as you see, the combat works out quite simply, but it's got modern mechanics. So for example, one of the things that kind of stops me really getting into stuff like Ultima, yeah, let's open this chest, is that I find that the combat mechanics are a little bit, yeah, let's keep that salted fish. Combat mechanics are a little bit old now, and they don't always hold up that well. And you'll find things like, various weapons, like a dagger just does less damage than a sword, that kind of stuff. In this game, it's much more modern in the sense of there's different damage types, different armors do have, protect against different damage types. Let's get ourselves a light. I'm going to cast this light spell. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to go through this dungeon. And yeah, so the combat mechanics in the game are much, they're actually really, really good. You see a large Failing wearing a crown of bone sitting on a throne fashioned of goat hides. A large wolf sits by him. Look, Fang, the Failing king growls in a high-pitched voice. Intruders, slay, kill, eat. He and the wolf leap forward as Failings pour from the shadows to join him. Okay, this wasn't supposed to be a let's play, right? So I'm just gonna talk to you very quickly about this game, why it's cool. For a start, it's a very, very big game. Now, I've been talking to people who play the game a lot, and they say that your first playthrough is going to be around 60 hours, maybe more. And as you can see, I'm a really, really strong character class here. So this is kind of like a beginner dungeon. So it's quite easy, but if you pick a more difficult character class, or you pick a small, team, this is going to be more difficult. And they're saying that, yeah, but if you try to, more like 100% the game on your first go, it's going to take you about 100 hours. However, because of the way that the emulation on this game works, you can speed up the emulation so the game plays a little bit quicker. And apparently, if you know what you're doing, you complete the game in 4 hours. Right? So it's really, really, really interesting. It's got tons and tons of different character classes. There's loads of spells in the game, loads of items. Apparently, the game is absolutely huge. I'm going to cast a spell here. Cast a zap on him. Oh, we missed. Okay. Yeah, this guy's not doing me too much damage. Oh, yeah, he is now. So yeah, this is the hero class, and I think this is kind of a little bit of a nod to the Ultima games. You know, if you remember in Ultima that you were playing the hero, and so yeah, this class is called the hero, and you get loads more attribute points basically if you're playing as the hero. Now, whether I can kill this guy before he kills me? Oh, there we are. Okay. It's those old, like really, really old, internal synthesizer on it as well. You found a chest. Yes, we'll open it. What do we got in here? No trap found. You found an untried potion. Keep. Okay, so it sounds like it's got some roguelike mechanics in there as well because you haven't tried the potions. But the graphics are really, the graphics are really, really colourful, and they're very basic, obviously, because this was a 16-bit computer, believe it or not. That was what surprised me in an era when 8-bit was the norm, and 16-bit computers like, you know, the Atari ST and the Commodore Amiga, they didn't come until sort of like the end part of the 80s, I'd say, or kind of like about 87 was it with the Atari ST. I didn't get mine until about 1988, I don't think. So maybe the Atari was a little bit earlier. Or 89 maybe I got mine. But yeah, there you go. So this looks really, really cool. Apparently the game is really, really big. There's a huge map. The game map is really, really large. It comes with there's just tons of content, and this floats my boat, right? The idea that there are people in the 2020s who are developing games for these old systems, and I mean, you've got to be programming in machine code, I would imagine. And sorry, not in machine code, in assembly language. You're most likely going to be programming in assembly language, I would have thought. I don't know anything about the TI-99. I know a little bit about the Commodore 64 and the ZX Spectrum. I had a ZX Spectrum when I was a kid, and I've got a Commodore 64 now, which I bought to do some music stuff with. So, and I know a little bit about programming in assembly language, and it's not easy. It's quite a laborious task. So I don't know quite how this was done, but kudos to the developer to make a game on this, this really, I mean, quite rare. I imagine it must be a relatively rare computer system. Actually, I don't think it's rare. I think I was looking it up at the TI-99. I think it sold a lot. And it had how Bill Cosby was one of the people who was helping sell the game. I'm pretty sure that nobody wants to be associated with that guy anymore. But yeah, apparently they were selling these TI-99s so cheap that the company weren't even making a profit, because they were trying to compete with the Commodore VIC-20, which was the Commodore 64's predecessor. I think there were some other machines as well. It must have been the early Apple machines that they would also be trying to compete with. Well, anyway, this is very, very cool to me, very interesting, and I think if I can kind of get my head around it, probably not going to do a let's play of something like this, but it might be worthy of doing a review. Oh, this thing's chasing me, look. What is it? Looks like a lizard. Cave lizard. Okay. Let's just go and whack it with my sword. Oh, there we go. Killed in one hit. Down with you, cave lizard. Okay. So there you go, guys. I just thought I'd show you that. This is really, really cool. I might actually just come out of the dungeon, just so that I can show you the world map, because there's kind of more to it. Okay, it's not just a dungeon. It's not just a dungeon crawler. This is a dungeon that I've gone into. Oh, 5 giant bats. Can I get out of here without dying? I reckon I can. So yeah, I'm doing a review of the game SKALD against the Black Priory, and the reason why I decided to review an RPG, I've had the idea for ages to do what I was going to call RPG Sunday, which is where on a or CRPG Sunday, which is where on a Sunday I would play CRPG games, because I did say months ago that I was going to branch my channel out from just doing constant 4X and strategy stuff, because I need to vary what I'm doing. The other thing is that I got a lot of people really, really interested in the roguelikes, and I was genuinely surprised at how many people actually watch the roguelike stuff. It was it was really, really surprising to me. And to the point where when I don't put roguelike content out, people kind of complain. Here we go. Right, so we're in a forest now. Now we're entering some hills, look. And we're going to go down. This is at the start of the game. And we're going to go down into the first village that you kind of come into. You see, you got some water on your, this kind of sea on the left, or it's a big lake. You got some mountains to the right. And here's a village. We've got some fields with some picket fences around. Got some fences. And then there's a character here we can talk to. Yes, my friend. Where am I? You know not where you are? How very strange. Okay, it's got a story a little bit like Ultima. You kind of like, you get pulled out of the real world into this kind of fantasy world. And yeah, so it's kind of, it's got some very, very strong Ultima vibes. I didn't really play the Ultima games. They passed me by when I was a kid. I played The Bard's Tale. That was the first CRPG that I played. One of the early Blobber games. And yeah, really, very good game for the time. I don't like it quite so much now. I think there are better games. I think Wizardry and Might and Magic are probably better games than The Bard's Tale, but Bard's Tale's still pretty cool. But yeah, this was the first sort of. I mean, I know the other kind of RPG games I played a lot when I was younger was the JRPGs, because I had a Japanese friend who had a Famicom and then later a Super Famicom. So I played all the original Dragon Quest games with him and Final Fantasy, some of the Final Fantasy games. And a whole bunch of Japanese ones that you will never have heard of, most likely. So yeah, so this is really, really cool to me because I'm kind of coming at it. I have played Ultima 1 and 2 and 4 a little bit because I do own those games, but I just haven't really played them a whole lot. So yeah, I just thought I'd kind of like branch out and just play some different stuff. The other reason why I find this stuff interesting is because as a programmer, I'm really, really impressed that somebody would do this, and people are still excited about these old machines, and they find the challenge in programming, in these old games machines. In these old computers. Like I say, I've got a Commodore 64. I've been having a look at how to program the MOS 6502 on it, and it's you can use BASIC on the Commodore 64, but it's slow and kind of crappy. And there are people who've kind of, in modern times come up with better versions. But still, I think assembly language, is probably the way that you want to be going with it if you want to be doing anything kind of new. There are like people still making things like Commodore 64 games, and obviously there's TI-99 and some of the other old systems. And yeah, I'm not going to become a retro games channel necessarily, but I do actually I find this stuff really fascinating. And yeah, this game, if it is as good as people are saying it is, and apparently it is really good. It's really big. It's got really cool story. It's got really great world building. Apparently it's huge, and it's the combat in it is really, really good as well. Once you just saw me, as playing the easy class, kind of like mulching my way through the rats in the first dungeon. You know what I mean? But apparently, this game is really challenging. So yeah, I'm super stoked to try this and just see how this one works, because I love games like this. Me, I don't care about graphics that much. I'm much more interested in gameplay. And often these old games, and this is not an old game, this is a modern game, believe it or not, but these often the old games really hide excellent gameplay, and it's not just about nostalgia or charm. That certainly plays a part of it, but it's as much about what you can do with limited resources. This is one of the reasons why I like SKALD as well, just to kind of spoil the review a little bit. I like SKALD a lot. I think it's a really, really good game. I think it's really well made. It's got some issues, definitely. It's not perfect, but that one is also kind of using a retro aesthetic, like very much like Commodore 64 or early DOS graphics, early DOS game graphics. So it looks like it's straight out of 1987, 1988, kind of like Pool of Radiance, if you remember that, the old gold box Dungeons and Dragons games. Or maybe like it's got some. It kind of reminds me of Wizardry 7 in certain areas as well, with the way that the quests are laid out. But yeah, that one is a really, really cool game as well. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you this off anyway, guys. I'm not going to make a meal of it. I'm going to end the video here. But yeah, let me know what you think. I think this stuff's really, really cool. If you think this looks really, really cool as well, jump on over to Steam and you can check it out. It's called Realms of Antiquity, and it's about. I think it's about £15 I paid for it, which, apparently, if you just play it once, you're going to get about 60 to 100 hours of play out of it, okay? So that's probably not bad for £15 or, $20, whatever that is, $17, $18. But apparently it's really, really replayable. I was talking to a guy in there on the Discord forum who said he's completed it 30 times. So he's like really, really into it, obviously. He said it's just really replayable. So yeah, I'm super stoked to try this one out, and you know, maybe I'll review it if I can. If I do the SKALD review and people enjoy that. And by the way, I know a few people are like, oh, you know, I'm not really that bothered about reviews. You know, everyone does reviews. Now, my review is going to be different. Okay, it's going to be a different format, and it's going to be a little bit of a mix of a standard review with just me being Ben. Okay, and so it's going to be a little bit different to what you're going to be expecting, I think. And you know, I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a while. I was hoping to have it done this weekend. That's unlikely now. The reason being is because I completed SKALD. Let's just have a quick look at SKALD. Actually, I'm just going to jump out of this. I don't need to save it because I'm going to restart my game. Let's just have a quick look at SKALD. Just very, very quickly. This comes from it's got a different aesthetic. The aesthetics from probably about 8 years after the previous one, so you'll see the difference in the graphics. But yeah, so I completed SKALD on the normal difficulty. Here you go. Look, this looks really, really cool. I got it in the CRT mode as well, which you have to play it in, by the way. You have to play it on CRT mode. It actually looks a lot better because it kind of with the sort of like CRT screen stuff. Let me show you what it looks like without it. Play CRT filter. Yeah, it looks like that. It's actually harder to read, at least for me. So this kind of blurs it out a little bit. And I think it looks a lot better as well. But this game is really, really cool as well. So look, as you can see, it's still got like kind of the retro graphics, but it's from a slightly later era. But the graphics in this game are really nice. There are areas where it's a little bit kind of like, you know, a little bit difficult to see, and that's one of my criticisms I got for the game. For the most part, though, this is really, really cool. This is a great game. Mechanically, it's a really, really good game. I completed it, and then I haven't completed a CRPG since, like, KOTOR. Okay, when was that? 2002 or something? When was Knights of the Old Republic? 2000? 2001? I think that might have been like one of the last... Like, I didn't finish Baldur's Gate 2. When it came out, I played Baldur's Gate 1 so many times and completed it multiple times. But when Baldur's Gate 2 came out, I was kind of bored. So I didn't complete that one. But I don't think I've really finished a CRPG in years. This is the first CRPG game I finished in years. I found it too easy on normal. It was a little bit too easy because I'm quite good at tactics games. But on hard, it's a different kettle of fish. It's really actually very, very quite challenging. It's quite challenging at the start of the game. And I'm really enjoying it. This is great. So... the reason why the review's taking a little bit longer is because I think for it to be a very thorough review, I'd try to complete it again. It took me nearly 40 hours to complete it the first time, which is twice as long as it's taken a lot of other people. But then I was taking notes and, you know, I think I was probably playing for about 30, 35. But if you try to do everything, which I was trying to do, but yeah, I think once you know where you've got to go, what you've got to do, you can probably complete it in about 15, 20 hours. So it seems like quite a short game. There's quite a lot to doing it, and it's all about the combat. And I really want to get my head around the combat on hard mode, because the game, you know, for someone like me who plays a lot of tactics and strategy games, I guess the difficulty on normal was a little bit too easy. Like I found like all the big dramatic fights in it were just quite underwhelming, whereas on hard it's way better. So I really want to get through it and, you know, give you a review of a game where I've actually thoroughly played it, rather than kind of going, oh, you know, this is kind of good and I like this. So there you go. Anyway, I won't spoil it any further. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little update anyway. Go and check out Realms of Antiquity, the Shattered Crown, and see if you can beat me to completing it, because that's going to be cool, man. And don't worry, I will be doing some Shadow Empire videos over the weekend to start kind of wrapping up that series. I think it's starting to draw to a close now, I hope. I reckon I've probably got about 30 episodes or so maybe about a month's worth of episodes, I'm guessing. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I've got to do. Yeah, I'm doing some content for Kingdom, Dungeon and Hero, so that is something that you can look forward to as well. And when I say content, I'm going to be continuing with my Let's Play, but also, yeah, there's some other stuff that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be doing some stuff for Galciv as well, because at some point in the near future we've got another Galciv update coming, and Galciv 4. And that's going to be really, really cool as well. So I'm going to be playing Galciv even more. So yeah. All right, guys. I'll catch you next time. Take care.